Almost a year and a half ago, I installed over 90 feet of gutter guards on the one-story sections of my house. There's a second-story section that I didn't install because it was above the tree level, but I've found since it's got a lot of leaves in it. So I've decided to finish off the job. I figured I'll need at least 60 feet of gutter guards. So it looks like I was going to get two sets of 32 feet. Instead, I ended up getting this bundle, which is 80 feet, because I was able to get 20% off on the purchase. And it seemed like an overall better deal. Cut the price by $20 or more for the set. So I'll begin preparing these gutter guard sections so they're ready to be installed. As depicted in the instruction booklet, there's a small section of the gutter guard screen that needs to be cut off so that the two sections of gutter guards will fit next to each other exactly, and I'll show you more details on that if you didn't see my original video. To make two sections of the gutter guards fit together, there's a small section of this mesh that has to be removed from this edge through the end, and from this edge through the end, and then the two pieces will abut directly against each other, and then the mesh will overlap so as to prevent debris from falling into the gutter. This is how I did the trimming, or the outcome of the trimming. I have a number of different tools here to make the cut, and I thought this would be the best, and what actually was the best was this pair of scissors, Scotch titanium, which does the bulk of it. And then I've used this file to sort of either file it down or flatten it. I'm not sure which it's doing. I don't know that it's actually filing through the stainless steel, but it flattens it enough that that the cut looks very good. Oh, that's the wrong side. This is where the cut looks very good. So I cut through this section with the scissors, and then I try to cut the remaining part with scissors, which sort of works, and then use the file to finish it off. So this is how it starts out, and then I trim it from there. And this is the outcome after the trimming. And this is how the two pieces fit together. I'm just prepping these in the garage, and then I do the rest when I'm up at the gutter line. Another way to sever off this trimmed area is take a needle nose pliers and grip it, the part that's already been cut off, and then bend it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, slightly over 30 times, and eventually it wears through the mesh and severs it. And then I trimmed a little bit more with the scissors and file. So as it turns out, the mesh part is 4 feet, 48 inches. The frame part is 47 inches, so you have to sort of figure that in your calculations. You lose an inch off every one of these when you're assembling it. Then when you do the end caps, you lose several inches, typically at the end cap, because this frame at the bottom here has to be cut off. That's explained in the instructions, and then the mesh is tucked into the inside of the the gutter. So all this figures into how much you lose from the calculations of 4 feet per section. The way the gutter guards can be attached to the gutters are one of two ways. Either using the 3M self-adhesive tape that's on the back of the gutter guard, or using the provided screws, which has a magnetic tipped driver. These are self-drilling and self-tapping screws, but I don't use that method either. What I do is I pre-drill the holes through the gutter guards, one hole at 5 inches from the end, one hole at the middle, and one hole 5 inches from the other end, and I make the hole large enough so that the screw easily fits through the hole I've drilled. And then if you have the proper tool, you can actually drill this directly through the gutter guard and through the gutter with this screw if you have the proper drilling device, which will stop at the right time and not strip out the screw. So I end up pre-drilling this and then pre-drilling the gutter to a smaller size bit than the screw thread, and then I tighten it by hand so that the screw doesn't strip out. So again, 3 of these per 4-foot gutter guard. There's about 30 feet of gutter on this side of the roof and 30 feet on the other side of the roof where there's a chimney yet to cover with gutter guards. Before installation of the gutter guards, I did a dry cleaning of the gutters, basically using this shop vac on the blow setting to blow the leaves out from the gutter. And then I went back with this little brush and scrubbed the grit from the bottom of the gutters, and then blew that out with a shop vac. And so now about ready to start the actual installation on this side of the roof. So I got this side done. It took 8 of the pieces, 32 feet with some leftovers, because the middle section here wasn't a gutter. So I had these 2 little pieces left over, which are almost a 4-foot length, but not quite. I lost some length on the end caps. So these were the easiest end caps on either side of the chimney. I just had to butt them up against the chimney surface without any special cutting. This was a typical end cap. Now these are pieces of cushioning foam. One of them is memory foam, the other 2 is just regular cushioning foam. When I did this in June, a year and a half ago, the roof was incredibly hot certain times of the day, so I put a multiple thickness piece of cardboard, but cardboard itself is sort of slippery. A friend of mine told me about using foam like this, pieces of foam. I think he actually said twice as big a foam instead of I had 3 pieces of foam about 2 feet by 2 feet. And that increases the friction between the roof and yourself because the foam won't slide on the roof surface very well, and it actually gives better traction. It took me less than 3.5 hours to install 60 feet approximately of these gutter guards, but I had already pre-prepared them, which is a lot of work to pre-prepare them. The gutter guards, as installed, have this sort of downward slope and then an abrupt upwards bend. As a final finishing touch, you can actually make this more like a dish by squeezing with both hands, sort of squeezing this in with your fingers. One hand's holding the camera here, but it's possible to indent this so that when the water runs off, it catches in a little dish right before it hits this rim, so it doesn't tend to flow over. Especially important if you have a large area of drainage from one section of the roof. This one doesn't, it's just a straight roof section itself, but I did that for the other sections of the gutter guard that I installed 1.5 years ago, making more of a dish, and I'm going to do that next here. This is a photo of a close-up of the way the gutter guard typically looks immediately after installation. This is the same gutter guard after I bent the bottom of the gutter guard with my fingers to make this dish shape. This process is explained in the manual that comes with the gutter guards.